I've been to Coventry before, loved it, nice place. Their project is Meals on Wheels. So can I invite Natasha and Reese to switch on the cameras if you want and take it away?
Hi, I'm Reese Ricknell. I'm a social media apprentice in the food care team, but I'm also a care leaver.
Just to note, obviously we're joining you today from our through care kitchen, so we need to make sure we're socially distanced, so we're going to be popping in and out of frame, so do apologise in advance, everyone. So we're here to tell you about our Meals on Wheels project, which we've run over lockdown, and we are going to be telling you about it in the form of a recipe, which is why we are standing dressed as chefs. So firstly, we're going to look at why this project. I'm just going to hand over to Reese.
Okay, so why this project? Well, the simple answer being COVID-19, and before all the coronavirus pandemic, we would actually do tutorials with our young people anyway, just as workshops to improve their life skills. So after the pandemic hit, we thought of a way to, one, stay interactive, but two, to also help teach our young people's life skills continue through the lockdown. So we came up with the idea of Meals on Wheels. This was then delivering food out to all of our young people whilst doing tutorials online on Zoom, Facebook and our Instagram pages. But the main reason for doing this project was that we wanted to help deal with the isolation and boredom during lockdown with our young people.
Thank you. So what ingredients did we need for our project? So first and foremost, we needed young people. So the way we got engaged with our young people for our project was by asking them for ideas for meals. So we asked them for recipe ideas. So normally as part of our day-to-day work, we would cook with young people anyway, and obviously we couldn't do that during COVID, so we said to them, okay, what is it you want us to show you how to make? So we asked for ideas, so that was via young people speaking directly to their social workers and PAs, but also engaging with them on our social media platforms. And then as the project went on, young people would also come directly to us and ask us for they would make suggestions for food for us, but also they'd come to us and sort of put down what food they wanted exactly. Our next ingredient was staff. So we needed staff willingness and we needed staff participation in this. So staff were not only cooking, so members of the team were not only cooking for us, but they also became our deliver through drivers, and they were helping to deliver food out to our young people across Coventry, but also to some of our young people that live outside of the area. We partnered with So external agencies. So we worked with our virtual schools colleagues who helped do our deliveries. We also worked with our local food banks who gave us, so they actually donated over 500 meals to us, which also became part of our food deliveries. And then we also worked with colleagues who wasn't only through care involved, so it was our colleagues in neighbouring teams across the city who also made some food for us, which we'll tell you more about a little bit later on. And we offered a variety of activities. Not every one of our young person wanted food delivered each week, so we did things like come dine with me, we did a baking activity as well as the meal deliveries, and we also put together food parcels for young people. We knew, particularly at the start of the lockdown, that not all of our food banks were open, so we put together food parcels which we were able to deliver out to our young people.
But Chef, what about people with different diet requirements?
So each week we had a vegetarian option as well as a meat option, and we also provided halal options as well for our young people. And then there's one more. Can we just have one more click on this slide, please? Fun, yeah. So staff were quite nervous, I think, at the beginning about cooking for young people, particularly because they were very, very honest in their reviews for our food. But everyone sort of was quite keen to get involved, and we all sort of. There was lots of energy and everyone was quite keen to get involved. And then with the online tutorials as well, when our young people joined them, there was quite a sense of community and a good sense of spirit with it. So that was it. And I'm just going to pass over to Chef, who's going to tell you about the method of our recipe in terms of what we actually did.
Okay, so the first thing we did was do a come dine with me special. So what we've done with this is that we're doing a live cooking tutorial with one of our social workers doing a pasta bolognese. But we also had our operational lead join us for the evening. Can we just have one more clip?
One more? There we go, thank you.
So the top right, that's our operational lead, Matt Clayton, joining us, taking part in the fun to really make it really interactive for everyone. So what we've done is, we've done the video by starting off with the ingredients, just to give everyone an idea of what to put into the pasta bolognese. And then we went through it step by step by adding everything that needs to be added into it. How to cook the meat, how to cook the veg, make sure you don't get any chewy carrots, add stuff to your flavour. And then also, so the second part of this was that we also ran a competition. So we've done this video, showed all of our young people how to actually cook the meal, and then we've challenged them to see if they can do a better version by sending us in pictures of their pasta bolognese. And then after that, we also delivered it. So our second activity was a baking activity, and how we got to this activity was that we started interacting with our young people on Facebook and Twitter and social media websites. And we started to find out that they were enjoying the cooking tutorials really very well, but also they wanted to learn how to cook desserts. So we put together an idea of doing a Zoom tutorial online where we baked cookies with members of our staff and also members of young people. And then with this one, it was also a competition where we asked them to send it in, and then we based it on what looks the best. If you can see on the screen now, the chocolate cake is actually the same one as the one in the middle. And that was our amazing winner. And then that's our staff joining in with our young people. Thank you. So what about food delivery, Chef?
So our food deliveries were over a 6-week period, and each week we made 30 meals and 30 desserts each week. So of the 30 meals, so 15 were vegetarian and 15 were a meat option. And we had over 500 meals donated from our local food bank. So we did the food bank deliveries as well as the meals that our staff made for our young people. Young people let us know directly on Facebook or through their workout which meal that they wanted. The 2 pictures on the slide are our staff meeting, socially distanced of course, to arrange the deliveries and then deliver them across the city and surrounding areas. The kind of premise of this was when people aren't feeling too great, we often will give food as a way to show that we care and show that we're thinking of them. We didn't want our young people to think that we'd forgotten about them in COVID, so actually this was our way of still engaging with them and still letting them know that we were here in a slightly more creative way.
What was on the menu, Chef?
So on our menu, we had, over the course of our 6-week period, we had veggie pasta, we had sweet and sour chicken, we had chicken curry, we had chocolate cake, we had brownies a few times. Brownies were very popular with our young people. We had veggie lasagna, we had chili and rice, we had lemon drizzle, chicken chow mein, lentil curry and rice, toad in the hole. So what we tried to do was put on a variety of different food options that we thought young people would like, and then they also gave us some feedback, which was always very constructive. So, Chef, tell me, what do people think about our food?
Yeah, so the feedback from our young people was, it was received really well actually, and they were very impressed with the food. Very nice cooking. It was definitely a good idea that we came up with according to the young people, and it really helped them out during lockdown. It was a great idea and it helped a lot of people out, and I think it was really good to actually start to keep on learning and keep teaching them their life skills. And then the pasta bake review, it was really nice with a great amount of flavour, but obviously, like I mentioned earlier, you need to make sure them carrots are cooked properly so they're not chewy. But overall, it was received really well, and that got a 7.5 rating. And
then we had 2 more reviews from young people. So the first one was, when receiving the food by Through Care staff, they were lovely and were so nice to see other people. I would definitely recommend doing it again. And then another one that we had was, I think the food deliveries were a brilliant way to help young people, as not everybody has access to warm meals and they always were warm and tasty. So what are we doing with this next? So we're currently exploring ways that we can make this a permanent feature as a part of the our service that we provide to young people. So staff and young people alike have both said how much they love being involved in the project, and staff are quite keen to still basically cook for their young people. So we're currently looking at ways that we can make this permanent. So for Care Leavers Week, we are doing cooking tutorials, and we're currently running a poll on our Facebook for recipe ideas, and then the premise of this is cooking on a budget. So again, we'll record videos and then we'll be posting it on our Facebook page, and then obviously sending it out directly to our young people. So this concludes our presentation. So thank you everyone for listening. Does anyone have any questions?
Hi Billy, is there anything in the chat box for Coventry?
How did you organise the kitchen for this? That was
so in our building that we're based in, so we've got a kitchen that's part of our young person's entrance that we have. So we have a kitchen on site that we can use.
And Natasha asked, how did this idea come about?
It was quite early on in lockdown, to be honest, and we were sort of thinking as part of the staff team in terms of what we could do and how else we could support young people. We obviously will cook generally with young people anyway, and staff and young people alike were missing out on doing that bit of direct work. So it sort of came from there, and yeah, everyone was just offering to cook.
Everyone's praising your presentation skills, saying what a double act. Just saying that it's a really good idea about food and meals, because a lot of young people struggle with them things like affording meals and things.
Yeah.
And this giving young people a new skill and something to be proud of, amazing. And I'm assuming you were quite high in demand. How did you decide what young people to deliver food to?
So each week we ran on a first come first serve basis, but then we also would have like a reserve list. So if for whatever reason staff weren't able to, like if young people weren't there sort of ready to receive delivery, we always knew who else we could go to, just in case we weren't able to get them out to those young people. So it was a first come first serve basis, but what we did do is if we were oversubscribed one week, we would make sure that those young people were top of the list for the following week, as long as they were happy with our options that week, of course.
Owen said, do you do things so that you can send someone food, like something for Christmas for those who might struggle?
Yeah, so so when we talked about sort of planning for the future, Christmas is on our agenda within those conversations. So we're looking at sort of how we can sort of replicate it. We've sort of taken the model in terms of the Care Leaders Week next week. Obviously, we can't, like every authority, we can't have our face-to-face awards. So we're going to be delivering out little parcels to every one of our nominees. So we can't have the awards, but we're still going to be delivering out, and that's using the same model that we had for Meals on Wheels.
Yeah, and Natasha said very well organised.
Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you.
Owen said, oh, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation, also persevering through your alarm or whatever it was.
Sorry about that. Thank you very much.
So if everyone can clap for Coventry again, cheers to your presentation. And we'll move on to our final keyword, which is have.